Well, hello and welcome to the Cloudy Sky Fantasy Football Show with me, Ian Parrott. And today we're going to get stuck into some stats for the first time this season. But just before we do, a little bit of housekeeping. So thanks very much for everybody who's signed up to play so far. We've still had a few with a couple of technical issues on the sign up, so just want to take a couple of minutes to talk through everything that's required. So if you sign up at cloudfantasyfootball.com, you'll see the page that's on my screen now with a couple of tabs at the bottom: sign up and the rules. So on the rules tab you get all of the overview, the how to play, the selecting a team, the scoring points, making transfers, captaincy and entering your team into CFF. Now a couple of issues we've had here is some people have not left their team public or visible, and other people have not managed to get the correct TFF team ID. So when you click on the entry form, you see here you've got your name and your team name and your email address and your Twitter handle. We don't necessarily need that, but it's good to have. And then you'll see here at the bottom the Telegraph Fantasy Football Team ID, found in the address bar on the TFF website. And there's an example there from my team. So if I just show you here on the website, this is from their TFF. This is my team that I've created already called Internationals. And you see here it's set to public. And if I just toggle on that switch there, it'll go as private. If you leave your team set to be private, it won't be scored in Cloud Fantasy Football because we can't see the details for it. So you need to make sure that that is left on public and open at all times. And then to get your team ID, if you click on a team here, this is my team, Internationals, and you'll see at the top here in the address bar, the team ID for this is 5493. And a few people actually used the example on the entry form. Everybody whose details have come in to me and are incorrect, I've sent an email asking them to either make their team public or to give me a correct ID. And if there's any more that come in that are incorrect, we will do the same. But it does make it easier all round if people just make sure these two things are correct for everybody moving forward. So what else has been going on? Well, I'm delighted to say the FFStuff site has now got some cloud details on. So we'll look here. This is the website, ffstuff.co.uk, and there's a tab here called Cloud Fantasy. And in here we have some different tabs. So the one here I'm showing at the minute is the leaderboard. And this shows everybody at the bottom here. We're currently on 174 people that have got entered teams, and they're the ones that have got a public ID and a public team and a team ID that we can check against. We also have about another 50 still to check in the background, and there's about 60 that I've sent back requests to either make your team public or to give me a correct ID. So what else is on the website that we can have a look at? So if we have a look here on the match center, this is the currently shows last season's matches rescored using the Cloud Fantasy Football rules. So this is from game 1 from last season. So the first match, if you remember, was Burnley v Man City on the first Friday. And you can see the points that were scored there. None of the Burnley players are scored because they're not currently in the Premier League this year. But Manchester City, you can see here. So 3 different colours for tier points. So the yellow is tier 1 at 1 point. The orange is tier 2 for 2 points, and the green here is tier 3 for 3 points. We can also see who scored. So Haaland scored twice and Rodri scored once. And then you can see here the A's are for the assists. So one for Rodri, one for Alvarez. And then all of these points are added up in the points section here. So the highest scoring player that day was Rodri, 20 points. Haaland, 14. And you can see that for every single game that was rescored last season. Now, some of the Sky scoring is different to what we've got in Cloud. One of the things that I've had some dialogue with people this week is about the penalty scoring. So we can see here on game week 2 from last season, Liverpool v Bournemouth, Mo Salah, this red cross is a missed penalty. So he would have lost 2 points for a penalty miss. And then Neto here, because he actually saved it, you've got a green star and 4 points there for a penalty save. But if we look on game week 3, Manchester City versus Sheffield United. Oh, sorry, the other way around. Sheffield United versus Man City. So we can see here Haaland missed a penalty with the red cross there. So that was a negative score. But because he missed it and it wasn't saved by Fotheringham, unlike in the previous versions under Sky, where Fotheringham would have scored 5 points for his penalty save, even though he didn't touch it, under Cloud scoring, he just got the normal saves bonus and 4 points, which would have been 2 for starting, 3 for the saves bonus, and -1 for letting it in 2 goals. So this will carry on when we get into Cloud this year. You'll be able to see the match centre, every game that's being played, and how your team's points are coming up against it. So also on Cloud here, we've got the fixture grid. So anybody can see who's playing where and when. And there's a tick box in here, mark earliest fixture. So if you do tick there on yes, you see which is the earliest game, which is obviously the deadline game. So you notice there on 17th of August, the first Saturday, the first game where you'll see the lineups is Ipswich versus Liverpool. And then we've also got on here some points. So this is player total points for all matches under Cloud scoring from last year. And you'll notice that the highest scoring player was Rodri with 273 points, made up of 141 bonus points and 132 goals and assists and appearance. Just by way of early note, Rodri under Sky last year scored 257. And then we also have, you can toggle this on different positions. So goalkeepers, defenders, where Saliba was top, Pickford was for goalkeepers, and strikers was Haaland. And you can also toggle here by various weeks. So game week 1 to 13, Haaland was top, probably top all season to be honest. And game week 25 to 36, oh no, Mateta. So you can toggle these according to position and game weeks. And then a bit further down, we have bonus points. So again, Rodri top, as we saw previously, 141. So it's made up of 99 passes bonus, 20 tackles bonus, and 22 shots bonus. Again, just by way of comparison, last year under Sky he scored 122 bonus points. And again, you can toggle this according to your positions and game weeks. We'll just toggle there onto midfielders. See if anybody else did score. No, it seems to be Rodri all the way. And then one other thing that we've got, it's not live on the screen yet, but it will be ready for the start of game week 1. And the other thing that we have that's not live currently, but is being worked on in the background, is the team data display. And you can see on the screen now, this is my team internationals, having scored points as if the games from last season were this. So you can see my formation there. I've got Onana and then 4 at the back, 4 in the middle and 2 up front. Would have scored 92 points last season. There's obviously been some players I've moved in and out. You can see at the bottom here, I had Kyle Walker in one of my drafts, and he obviously scored 8 points. So would have been 16 as captain on the first night on the Friday, that game v Burnley. And Onana here on the final night, which was the Monday night game at home to Wolves, the one where the infamous penalty was not given, and Onana ended up with a 12-point captaincy with a clean sheet saves bonus. So this will be coming ready for the start of game week 1. People will be able to enter their team ID and fetch team, and they'll be able to see their points and who's doing well and who's not. So next we're going to have a look at some comparisons between players under Sky and Cloud scoring from last season. So here we have the points comparison of all players and total points from last year. On the left hand slide is Cloud scoring, so these have been rescored on the FFStuff site with points from last year's Premier League games allocated with the Cloud scoring system. And on the right hand side is the points they would have actually or did actually score under Sky scoring. So you can see at the top of the list on the Cloud is Rodri, who would have got 273 points. And on Sky, he was actually the third highest scorer with 257. Erling Haaland was the highest scorer on Sky with 260. Under Cloud, he was fourth with 257. So overall, in the top 20, which reads from Rodri, Palmer, Foden, Haaland, Watkins, Saka, Saliba, Salah, Bowen, Son, White, Rice, Solanke, Van Dijk, Bruno Fernandes, Gabriel, Isak, Bruno G, Gross and Odegaard, the 20 players that average score in Sky compared to... Sorry, the average score in Cloud compared to Sky went up by 3.75%. 16 of the 20 players went up and only 4 went down, which was Haaland, Saliba, Salah and Son. And if we look to the tier points, again, you see on the left the Cloud scoring. Top scorer again was Rodri. We're developing a theme here, who scored 141. And on Sky, Rodri was still the highest by a distance again, you can see, 122. So this time round, there was a 31% rise in bonus points in the Cloud scoring compared to Sky, which is probably no surprise because we've added a third tier. So you get level 1 as well as level 2 and 3. So some players will have gone up quite a few points. I think Dominic Solanke was one. He must have had quite a few games where he only had 1 shot on target, and he nearly doubled his bonus point tally under Cloud scoring compared to Sky. And the only one of the top 20 who went down was Saliba, who went from 68 bonus down to 66. So again, a less than 3% drop for him. So if we break it down by position, we look at the goalkeepers. So top was Jordan Pickford in both Cloud and Sky. Not too much difference in goalkeepers, to be honest. There's not much of a difference in change of tiers. Tier 1 was 3 points, Tier 2 is 4, and Tier 3 is 5 under Cloud. And in Sky, there was just Tier 3 and 3 and 5 for Tier 2 and Tier 3. Or Tier 1, 2 points, and Tier 2, 3 points. So again, goalkeepers not gone up much, 0.72 overall. Now if we look at defenders, so William Saliba is top under Cloud scoring with 237, very similar in Sky, 238. Quite a lot of defenders the same down the list, maybe slightly different order. Overall, the points have gone up by 7.2%. And if we look at midfielders then, under Cloud scoring, Rodri was top. Again, the theme's still there, 273 altogether. In Sky, Palmer was actually top with 257, joint with Rodri on the same score. One thing to note with the Sky, or some of the Sky players from last year, the likes of Salah and Son, under TFF positions, they classify as strikers. So under Cloud for this year, you're going to need to have extra slots available for if you want to pick the likes of Salah and Son. You're going to have to fit them into a front three under Cloud. So overall with midfielders, the overall point scoring went up by 6%, and nearly all of that was bonus, because any other scoring method, goals and assists and appearances, the overall total was either the same or slightly lower under Cloud scoring from last season. And then we look at strikers. So Erling Haaland was the top under both formats, 257 under Cloud and 260 under Sky. Then you've got the likes of Watkins and Isak, Solanke, Jackson. You can see there Dominic Solanke, 212 under Cloud and 192 under Sky. So 20 points difference, and nearly all of those were bonus points. So that should give you a flavour of how some of the points have changed under Cloud scoring compared to what people were used to under Sky. The vast majority have gone up, but only slightly, and a lot of that seems to be the added third or 1 point tier bonus. So next week I'm going to start putting together some more data, which will look at player prices, fixtures, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody's got something for the weekend to know a little bit more about what we're doing. You can see what the data looks like from FFStuff. You see a little bit about what the points and positional changes might mean for your upcoming Cloud season. So just before we go, I've had a few people ask about how they can support the show. So what I've decided to do, I've put a Patreon together. I'm going to add a couple of tiers on there. One at just a couple of £1 a month for basically saying thank you, creating a game and doing the content. And I'm going to put another one and an intermediate tier at £3.50 a month. Again, a thank you for doing the podcast and sorting out some stuff with the game. And we're also going to put on there a version of my transfer planner, which was popular on Sky. So I'm going to get that put together hopefully next week and get that put in the Patreon. Details for it are here. So we're on patreon.com, Cloudy Sky Fantasy Football Show. And you can see I've called the basic tier Cumulus Supporter and the intermediate tier Stratus Navigator. So hopefully I'll get those put together over the weekend and get that live next week. So if anybody wants to support the show, there's a way that you can all do it. And thanks for those that inquired. Then back to where we started the show. Sign up and rules for cloudfantasyfootball.com. Get yourself over to the website if you haven't already. Read the rules, click on the sign up form, and make sure you've got your TFF team ID and that your team is left to public, not private. Very important. Okay, I'm going to leave you to have hopefully a nice weekend. Enjoy the sunshine, and we'll be back with some more content on Monday. In the meantime, if you've enjoyed your watch, please leave me a like, and if you want to subscribe to the channel, please do, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.